doesn't have the money to actually pay for all of this. But that's not a problem for the Federal Reserve. After cutting rates to 0%, they quickly opened the doors to unlimited quantitative easing and are now printing $125 billion a day. As part of this bailout, the government is also sending checks to most Americans, no strings attached, virtually identical to the socialist universal basic income idea on which Andrew Yang based his failed presidential run. And it might not be the last time the government uses this strategy. Of course, we all realize the money will largely end up in the hands of the well-connected rather than those who most need it. See, the biggest problem with a crisis like this is that nobody stops to ask the real questions. Like, how does the financial system get so bad that a virus can collapse the entire U.S. economy? Or, will one-time stimulus actually fix the economy or just make Americans even more dependent on the government? Or even, what is the dollar actually worth if we can print an unlimited number of them? But none of this matters. Everyone just wants a quick fix, an easy handout, and politicians are happy to oblige. Unfortunately, these policies and those that are sure to follow in the coming weeks and months will cause even greater damage to the Americans they are designed to help. So please, as a citizen of this country, pay attention to what your government is doing right now. The people running our country today are living in a fantasy world. And if you're not careful, you could be the one who pays the price. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that the coronavirus is harmless. People will continue dying as it continues to spread. And I agree that those most vulnerable should take precautions to limit their risk of exposure. The latest numbers from Italy's National Institute of Health show that 99% of those who died from coronavirus had at least one pre-existing condition. So people like this should definitely use common sense and exercise caution. But not everyone who gets coronavirus will die. Even more surprising, not everyone even shows symptoms, as the research and anecdotal experience is now showing. Bottom line, I believe this virus has been overhyped by government officials, and the results, which we'll only begun to see, will be to spend more money than they ever have before and wipe out even more of our freedom. It will take time and happen slowly, but it's all part of their plan to make Americans totally dependent on the government. But this is an attack on our civil liberties. You see, the reality is these emergencies, measures that get passed, never actually go away. Their long-term financial consequences continue to grow, and if you're not prepared, what's happening today will create a nightmare for baby boomers and others who are retired or nearing retirement. What our government is trying to do today has been tried many times before in dozens of countries. Hitler, Mao, Mussolini, Stalin, no matter who's in charge, these socialist policies always lead to disaster. If you think this sounds extreme, just look at what's already happening to our most basic constitutional rights. According to the Wall Street Journal, data mining firm Palantir, which was credited with helping to find Osama bin Laden, is working with the Senate